meeting of Public Works to order for December 13th. Roll call.
Dukenyak here.
Deal here.
Guzikowski here. Okay.
Michael, start timer.
The approval of minutes from 11/8.
Dukenyak second.
Roll call.
Dukenyak aye.
Deal aye.
Guzikowski, aye. Common council actions. Taking that one yet? You. Alrighty, Carly. It's
How about
on.
now? Okay. So just a couple of updates. So the November 15th Common Council meeting, the council authorized the recommendation for all of the road improvement projects that we talked about at the last meeting. So they're all going to be advertised for public bid for rehabilitation in 2023. So that was recommended by Bob Waka. And then at the November 22nd special common council meeting, council unanimously approved the 23 operating budget and the CIP budgets as well. So there were no changes and then no comments from the public. And then at the December 6th meeting, council approved a purchase of a 2023 International plow truck from Lakeside International. And that was just over $202,000. So this was recommended by Bob Waka, but since it exceeded the threshold, it had to go directly for Common Council for approval. And then just a heads up too, our new board member will be appointed next Tuesday for Bob Waka and should make his first appearance at the January meeting.
All right.
Charlie, are you able to let us know who that person is, or is that still privileged information?
No,
until-
it's not privileged information. So he, what is his name again, Mike? Mike?
Kurt Sarnecki.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Oh, perfect. Wow, okay, great.
Great fit.
Yes.
Alrighty, consider a motion to, yeah,
I
lots.
said finalized. Great, yep.
Consider a motion to approve the purchase of a John Deere Z997R.
Yeah, thank you. Matt Trobatuski, Director of Public Works. This mower is a very highly used piece of equipment for us throughout our city parks properties as well as school district properties. And one of the main things too that this particular piece of equipment does is a lot of our boulevards and other areas throughout the city within medians and that type of thing. So that's where we look for the rear discharge more instead of the side, so we're not spraying it all over the road and those types of things. It's about a 16-year-old mower with several hours of usage on it. We like to try and keep it around a 15-year replacement if we can. If it's performing well and we're not having a lot of maintenance, we'll keep it longer than that, of course. To the contrary, if it's not, we may look at it sooner. But this one's pretty much made it through what we expected of it. So we went through proven power, but through Sourcewell bid pricing, which is done competitively. It's a group recognized by the state of Wisconsin, actually out of Minnesota, that goes out and basically bids these items for us. So we're able to look at that and not go through all of the legwork individually as a single municipality for that. So the price that we received was $25,298.04, and we are recommending replacing this mower, and we would look to sell the existing one on municipal auction. And we did have $30,000 budgeted for it, so we came under that.
questions or comments?
Dukenyak second.
Kowski, aye. Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Right. Number 6, consider motion to purchase of a Vermeer stump cutter. Matt again?
Yes. Yeah, here again, this is a very old piece of equipment that we had. It's a 1967 model, so we've gotten real good use out of it over the years. Really, it's become less efficient than what we can receive today. We noticed that when we did some demos with a new piece of equipment that could do it in a lot less time, where it might take an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to get a larger tree stumped down to the ground. We can do that in closer to 15, 20 minutes. It goes a lot faster. Another added feature or bonus to that is that it's a lot safer piece of equipment. The one that we have currently, any safety features that are on it were fabricated in-house, and we had installed to protect the operator from any debris coming out of it. This one actually would include a remote that you can get your distance from the machine when it's working, so that you're out of harm's way. We looked at potential of being able to lease the equipment, but the size of equipment that we need really isn't available. There's probably only a couple of them in the state that are out to be leased, but we do use it throughout the year at various points during the year, probably roughly 3 to 4 months time when it's all said and done throughout the annual calendar year. So we received some pricing on that. We received the Sourcewell bid pricing, which was the lowest again, including approximate $6,000 for the remote. Would be $86,635. Vermeer did give us a price as well if we were to go directly through them and not the Sourcewell price, which was, as is typical, was higher than that. That was $91,801. We had budgeted $91,000 for the project, or for this purchase, I should say. So the $86,635 does come within the approved budget amount.
Matt, question, Alderman Dukenyak, 3rd District. Have an idea how many trees that we take down and stumps that are ground out during the course of a year?
Yeah, let me quickly pull that up.
And is that strategic harvesting or storm? Is there a lot of
It's going to be storm damage. It's going to be the emerald ash trees
okay.
that we're
Yep.
still working through. Looking at the last several years I've got here. So we're really removing anywhere from close to 600 to 700 trees per year that we've done more recently. We're a little lower this year. We're starting to get through some of the ash trees where we don't have as many of those, but we are still treating some to keep them alive a little bit longer, so it's not such a dramatic.
and Matt, with
impact to
those
the-
numbers, yeah, that warrants that piece of equipment. So thank you.
Yeah. Problem.
Anything else, guys? Motion?
Dukenyak move to approve the purchase of a Vermeer SC 802 stump cutter from Vermeer, Wisconsin, in the amount of $80,635 through the Sourcewell bid contract. The associated radio remote control at an estimated cost of $6,000 from Vermeer, Wisconsin.
Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Eli.
Guzekowski, aye. Consider a motion to approve a purchase of a forklift.
Yes, and
Who's that?
so this item, we actually have 2 forklifts at the Public Works facilities. One that we keep over at the recycling yard to basically move around a lot of our pallets and stuff with just general waste, but also TV appliances appliances, TVs, those types of things to be loaded. And we have a little bit newer of a unit that we have at the garage for unloading, all of our different materials, mastic, asphalt, tar. The street striping paint that we use and all those types of things. So what we're looking here is to sell and get rid of the 1975 model that we have at the recycling yard currently that's had a lot of maintenance issues with it. I think we had a note in here that there's a few things that need to be repaired on it currently. What we would do is we'd take the 2006 model that's at the shop and move that over to the recycling yard. Since that's would be the older of the two, and then we would have the new unit at the municipal services building where it would be inside and better protected from the elements. We did have an option of only having one forklift, but we do use them quite extensively at both locations and felt probably wouldn't be the most efficient, definitely not the safest thing to be driving the forklift between the two properties. So the pricing that we received on that, again, the Sourcewell pricing was the low bid at $31,667.54. Walter provided their quote at $34,601. And the budget amount was $40,000, so we're actually quite a bit under what we were anticipating. Look into leasing it. I mean, it's pretty where we kind of need it on hand at all times. I mean, we could see if there was a lease to own opportunity, but really we would still be spending the same amount just with interest over a period of time, and felt that at a relatively lower cost of $32,000 that it was probably within our means to go ahead and purchase it up front. Right, that's true, and that one's a pretty relatively easy piece of equipment for us to maintain. I think we have the time to be able to maintain it, especially with the leasing that we do with a lot of our light and medium duty vehicles. So now we focus more on our plow trucks, our equipment like our chippers, our forklifts, and then between that and fire department apparatus is what we spend a lot of time on too. But this definitely doesn't require a lot of upkeep. It's within our abilities for sure.
And is there a motion on 7?
Dukniak second.
Roll call.
Dukniak, aye.
Guzekowski. Motion to enter into a contract for design work for HVAC. Questions or comments? Motion?
Dukniak move to approve or enter into a contract with Clark Dietz for the design and replacement of HVAC system at the water treatment plant in the amount not to exceed $3,000.
Roll call.
Dukniak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Estimate. CIP estimate is for the whole project, and I think it was like 325 or 350,000 hours.
Number 9, consider a motion to enter into a contract for Brown and Caldwell.
Sure. So we completed our master plan on the sanitary sewer. We started that, I think, in 2020. Used the data that was available at the time. Some of the MMSD meters that we were able to use to support that plan weren't available, or the data wasn't. We have that now. So since that was done, and since a number of years have gone by, while Brown and Caldwell is still, they did the original work. While they're so familiar with that, we'd like to have them update model, sanitary model, and then prepare system plans that we use when any developers come in to determine whether we can service a particular area or not. We used to go to our old paper maps. We want to do that now in the GIS, so they would update those maps. Well, I guess I suppose I'm embarrassed to say that the last maps were done in like 1999. But we do think, it all depends on how the city changes, right? So if we model an area, we can predict if we're gonna do the same development in that 20 years in the future, it'll be the same flows. So we're comfortable with that. It's just when we changed, we've done a lot of that changing, maybe from a park area to industrial area, or from an old residential, planned residential, and now it's industrial or what have you. That's when it needs to be updated. Yeah, we can, yeah, we can. That's what we hope to do in the future when we do adding sanitary sewer or repairing sanitary sewer. We can put all that data in the model. Yes, we do.
Already started.
No, he made the motion. Dukenyak second.
Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Yellow.
Guzekowski, aye. Number 10, consider a motion to enter into a contract with R.A. Smith for design and construction on Forest Hill for $32,000.
So this is a tiny little stretch of Forest Hill from Howell Avenue east, about 600 feet. East of there is New Main, this tiny little stretch of Old Main. We're also doing Howell Avenue this year, replacing that. We'd like to get this little, we don't want this little piece hanging out there. So we're asking R.A. Smith to design that for us. R.A. Smith is the engineer on the Howell Avenue project. They have all of that backup material. So, I mean, we're not down that far east. We're right at Howell Avenue. We're going to be doing our work. It's largely it does not. All of that was already done. That main was already replaced there.
Good. Motion?
Dukenyak move to approve the motion to enter into a contract with R.A. Smith for the design and construction staking of the East Forest Hill Avenue water relay in an amount not to exceed $32,900.
Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Yellow.
Guzekowski, aye. Alrighty, number 11, consider a motion to enter into a contract for design on the 2023 sanitary rehab project.
So this is another one of our sanitary rehab projects where we do spot lining or spot repairs or full length lining, that sort of thing. We've done that over the last several years. The 2023 version of this, we're going after the large mains and lining those large mains that need to be done. We're additionally going to look at laterals that are protruding into the main and identify those, get plans to cut some of that out. We have several mains, several laterals where they intrude into the main. But primarily the bulk of this work will be the large mains and lining those. That's what the work is here. R. Smith has done the work in the last couple of years.
Questions? Motion?
Dukenyak second.
Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Yellow.
Guzekowski, aye. Number 12,
Okay, one more, design contract to award, and that is for the 13th Street hydrant relocation and manhole adjustment contract. What we're doing there is the county is rehabilitating or repairing the road on 13th Street. We need to get some of our hydrants that are impacted out of the way and adjust some of our manholes. We selected R.A. Smith because they are doing the survey work for the county on that project, so they have all that background data and can hit the ground running for us. They also did the last hydrant relocation project on Rawson Avenue, and we're happy with it.
Comments or questions? Motion?
Dukenyak move to approve the motion to enter into a contract with R.A. Smith for the design and construction staking of the South 13th Street hydrant relocation and manhole adjustment. And that's in an amount not to exceed $34,200.
Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Number 13, consider a motion to approve the final payment for 2022 sanitary rehab project to Globe Contractors.
This is the end of this project before we move on to the next, and the total cost here is $8,699.
Comments or questions? Motion? Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Alrighty, 14, consider a motion to approve a purchase of a Ram 1500 from Ewald.
So we've got sort of a standard pickup here. We call it a light-duty truck for us. We've been trying, we didn't order anything in 2022. Trucks just weren't available. They're starting to become available, and the prices are getting more reasonable. Now, this one, we've got a couple bids on it. Ewald was the lowest, 31,000, 31,900. The budget was 35,000.
Comments or questions?
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Alrighty, number 15, consider a motion to approve the purchase of a Ford F-1 250.
So this is a pickup truck as well, slightly different. It's a little bit larger. It's our liftgate truck, so we use that to pick up hydrants that get knocked out, things like that. Liftgate for that, well, actually, all sorts of things. But so this truck needs to be a little bit beefier. That's why you'll see the higher price here. Got a couple of bids here. It is below the budget. I will note, though, with regard to the budget, we still have to add a $4,000 liftgate to the back of this truck here. We'll add that after the fact.
So my question about this and then the previous item as well, are these items that'll be readily available to you rather than having to wait months?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
These are off the lot.
Oh, perfect,
items.
okay.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Roll call or motion?
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Alrighty, 16, consider a motion to approve the purchase of a Ford F-450.
Well, we call this our little dump. It's our small dump truck that we use when we go on water main breaks. We will take the pavement out with this truck, bring it back to the shop, fill it full of sand, use that sand for bedding out the water main. It's not the large dump truck we use for all the excavation. We also use it for landscaping work. We use it for pavement patching and some of our restoration work. The one that we have now is a 2000 model. It's written here someplace. It's got the equivalent with the hours on it. It's got the equivalent of about 250,000 miles on it. definitely is time to replace it. It needs quite a bit of repair as well. We increased the budget just from 22 to 23. We added a little bit more in 23, if you remember that. The budget was $90,000. This truck actually came in at 78.5, so pretty happy with that number.
Motion? Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Alrighty, number 7, consider a motion to approve the utility vouchers for payment in the amount of $2 million.
Yeah, and it's an annual payment. It's
Point.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, it was large this time.
Alrighty, any other comments or questions? If not, motion? Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Any administrative and operations? Any comments or questions that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, due to the length of the agenda, I really don't have, and these reports, there's nothing particularly special on them. I have nothing to highlight. If you have anything, I'll be happy to talk about it.
Mike, if you can update the board here about the repair work that's taking place on Putes and Howell Avenue.
Yeah, that's been kind of going back and forth. We had a leak, we investigated it, we looked for some repair parts, we couldn't get the repair parts, they came later than we expected here, but in December. But yesterday, the crew was out and repaired that leak. We are fairly confident at this point that it's a permanent repair. We have to do a little bit more analysis. Some of the work that was done. We had a leaking joint, so we put an additional rubber gasket on the end of that joint and a clamp system to pull that back in to repair that leak. The issue or the question, and it's a perfectly fine repair. In fact, I was talking with Kurt Zarnecki. Kenosha stocks this. We've never used this type of clamp before. They stock every size up to 24 inch. This happened to be 30 inch, so we couldn't borrow it from them. But they're comfortable. They're happy with this type of a repair. It's new for us. It's something different. The issue that we had or were concerned about is during the time that pipe was leaking, it has this jet of water squirting out of this joint, and it erodes away the metal of the water main. Now you've created a divot in there, and that gasket has to absorb that. It's not intended for that. It's not designed for that. So that's where we are a little bit nervous about that. Reports are we got an excellent seal, so we're happy with that. Again, it's something new and different. If it failed while we were repairing it, that would be okay. If it failed,
Never fails when
right? If it fails tomorrow, if it likely fails, the leak is just going to get worse. The bigger concern that we had is this right at a reducer from 30 inch to 16 inch, and if we by disturbing the soil around it, if we allow the force to take that reducer off, that would be a very significant problem for us. So we took steps to ensure that we got good gravel packed up against there again to support that. And it has been in the ground since I think the late 80s. So we're comfortable that the movement that would have occurred should have occurred. So we do feel comfortable with it not being able to. But that's be one of the concerns. We have repair pieces for that to replace that on hand if that ever happened. So it will be a matter of getting that shut down as quickly as we could. in order to effect the repair. It's a 30-inch main. By the time we get notified, yeah, that would be a big problem. And then I think there's 8 valves that we need to shut down that area to get it sealed off. So you very likely, yeah. Yeah, I would expect sort of the loss of pressure in the central part.
Like, I didn't drive by that location this morning. Is the equipment and barricades, are they still up there?
Barricades are still up. They were going back to dress up the hole a bit. They'll end up removing those barricades. We're not gonna clean up any of the grass. It was all in the grass area,
Right.
which is nice. We're not gonna clean up any of that until springtime.
The repair has essentially been completed?
Yes, it has.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
it has.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Yep. From the previous year? Yes. Yes. Yes, it all goes, I didn't bring that sheet with me. It all goes back to, yeah, the wind energy is up. Everyone else is kind of within 1% or 2, up or down. Wind energy is up, it's like 17%. And again, I met with them and they were not concerned about it. It has, and I always, we've had some pretty good days here, sort of late in the fall into the early winter here. I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but we've had some pretty good days for sure. Yeah, we tried to go back. Mike went and looked, specifically on November 2nd to see if there was something sort of artificial, if we were filling basins, because we had a number of our block and set basins down for maintenance. Were we filling those? Did we do a draw on the reservoir out at Orchard Way? And that wasn't the case here. So it would have been a fill day for sure. It was just general usage.
Any other comments or questions? All right. 19, consider a motion to approve the purchase of a Trimble S5.
Yeah, I'll be taking this, Matt Sullivan, city engineer. So before you is a motion to approve the purchase of our robotic survey equipment. The existing survey equipment we have for robotics was purchased in 2003. So it has 19 years service on it. It is no longer serviceable. So any kind of damage or repair that we have, or even general maintenance, is no longer provided. We do have a 2007 GPS system, which at this point in time, with the work that we do, the tolerance level for the vertical is not tight enough, I'll say, for surveying and staking out sidewalk ramps, which if you know, anytime we do any kind of maintenance or any kind of change of surface against a sidewalk ramp, we are required by federal law to bring that up to standards. So with the requirements on the tolerance for the vertical, required to have that type of equipment. We do have a quote from Seiler, 34,000, slightly under 34,897.41, which is under our budget of 34,900. So just requesting that be approved. We have spoken with them. They can have the equipment ready for us to take over in January, along with training that's provided with this purchase.
Okay. Questions or comments? Motion?
Dukenyak move to approve the purchase of Trimble S5-3 robotic survey equipment in the amount of $34,897.41 from Seiler Instruments.
Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski. Alrighty. Number 20, consider a motion to approve the purchase of 4 Panasonic in-car cam. Chief, how you doing?
I'm well. Yourself?
Doing great.
Dave Stecker, Chief of Police. I'm here for the year 3 of 3, the replacement of the Panasonic Arbitrator in-car video systems. We got this approved with a quote of 22,124, and we're still getting the same quote as that going forward. We'd just like to get that before prices go up here into 2023. This will get us finally switched over to the high definition digital aspect that also works with our body camera items that we got last year. So it's been a 3-year rolling project between all 3 of these components and then the body cam component as well. Any questions on the request? It is the best technology for the time being, yes, but as we know, technology is constantly changing and we just need to stay with it. The difference from the HD cameras that we had, the old technology to now it's really a night and day difference when you look at them. So the biggest thing with that is to make sure that we get good crisp video at a good frame rate that's also compressible for the long term so that we can store that with the IT department's help. We store it on site and back up and back up.
Motion? Roll call.
Dukenyak, aye.
Guzekowski. 21, consider a motion to purchase 8 Meridian Archer anti-vehicle barriers.
So that's us again, police department. We took the lead on this. It's something that Captain Bollander's actually been helping lead and research for several years. At the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, I met with Andrew and the mayor to get a group together to research this and make sure that we were doing what we could to protect our events where we have a lot of citizens at. One of the big things that we're seeing an increase when it comes to attacks is with vehicles. It's actually about 12% of all active threat events are using vehicles as ramming devices. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of those here recently. We had the Waukesha Christmas Parade last year, and then shortly after that, we had during the 4th of July this past year down around Chicago and at Highland Park, I believe. So we do have a lot of these that are occurring, and unfortunately, when you can't get a weapon, we look to alternative methods, and a vehicle does a lot of destruction in a short amount of time. So this is our pilot program. That group took people from DPW, police, fire, and city admin members to make sure that we were looking at this from all different angles, looking at different vendors that were out there to see what was the best fit. So this is our anchor of that, and it can be built out with more from Meridian in the future, or it can be built out with other items that we can use environmentally or other barrier projects or items that are available through different vendors in the future. I'd be glad to answer any more questions, but as we get into the group aspect, I do have Lieutenant Thorne here to help answer any of those questions, and as a technical advisor, Captain Bollander.
Chief Alderman Dukenyak, 3rd District. Are these the same units that we discussed during the budget presentation?
Yes, so these are exactly the same ones, so I think I'll get on that real quick before we get any further. The price quoted is about $1,400 more than what we had quoted through the CIP project. We're gonna be able to fund that through other funds through finance. And the big reason we're trying to get ahead of this is it's through GSA government pricing, and come the first of the year, there's a $5,000 to $7,000 increase on this. So we're trying to make sure that we can lock that price in now.
Makes sense to me.
What's the weight? Captain Bollander, would you like to come and explain that, or? There is some weight to them, but it comes with a cart, and it's pretty effortless with the cart to move them around, but.
Captain Mike Boland, the operations captain for the city of Oak Creek. The question was, what's the weight of the device? They're approximately 700 pounds apiece. And the way to move them is a lever system. It takes a little bit of getting used to moving them. You hook a lever system on them. There's something that doesn't move easily because they are intended to stop a vehicle. So they take a little bit to learn how to move them and move around, but one person can move them by themselves.
So we're going to work all that out, but I believe that we originally were talking about DPW, but we've got to find the room. I mean, the room is always at a premium, and we need to make sure that they're inside. This is for those planned events, and actually, some of the discussion has been, once we get into the midst of that, they can just stay out. It doesn't need to be moved back and forth every single day. People can walk around them, get around them. That's the whole reason they have them, is for people to ebb and flow, but to stop that vehicular traffic from coming through.
Makes sense to me. Any other questions? If not, a motion?
Dukniak, second. Oops, sorry.
Roll call?
Dukniak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. Alrighty. Consider a motion to approve the purchase of the Eventide voice logging. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, Tom Kramer, IT manager. Here this morning to talk about the 911 recorder request. This request was made to ensure staff can open records requests as needed. Also, it's used for training and QA in some court cases. This was approved for 2023 in the amount of $26,000. We're requesting approval now to get on the wait list because anything with a chip on it is a few months out. We actually fielded the same make and model at South Milwaukee a few months ago. It's been working great for them. User training has been a lot easier. Overall, they're very happy with the product. I know the quotes were kind of all over the place, so.
Motion.
Dukniak move to approve the purchase of an Eventide voice logging recorder from Northland Business Systems in the amount of $22,181.
Roll call.
Dukniak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. 23, adjournment. Roll call.
Dukniak, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.